What's up, y'all? This is your boy Brooklyn, and I'm back with another video. Before I get started with the video, I just want to thank anybody that has ever liked, comment, share, subscribe, looked at my video for 2 seconds. I appreciate the view. Now today I want to get into Dababy. I've been recently seeing Dababy in the media. He's been doing interviews. I saw him on the Breakfast Club, and I was like, damn, what's he got going? Not knowing that he dropped a mixtape. And it's called How the Fuck Is This a Mixtape? I haven't really been checking for Dababy recently. If I hear him drop something, like, I'll check it out, but I really didn't know that he dropped a mixtape or a mixtape album, whatever you want to call it nowadays. I didn't know he dropped until I saw him on the Breakfast Club, so I checked it out this morning, and I ain't gonna lie, it bumped. But one thing about Dababy for me, he's never really dropped trash music in my opinion. So when it comes, I just want to give you guys, my kind of take on Dababy's new mixtape. And then I kind of want to do a quick little deep dive into his career, where he was and where he currently is right now, status wise, within my opinion. All right. So when you cut the mixtape on, it sounds like a classic Dababy project. It sounds like It sounds like one of his albums. I wouldn't say a fan, but I liked Dababy's music. He never made bad music to me. So the album has a nice flow. The songs aren't super long at all, and it flows. It definitely sounds like an album. He uses some good little samples in there, and he has no features. And sometimes it's good to have no features, especially when you're trying to get back into the graces of capturing your core audience back or capturing new fans. You kind of don't want to be overshadowed with features or a feature heavy project. Maybe the next tape, it'll have some features on there, but for the most part, not even for the most part, it's all just him, nobody else, which I did respect. And for the longest, we know that Dababy was quote unquote canceled. I've talked about this for a long time about cancel culture and how I feel about cancel culture. And again, I feel like cancel culture is fake. I think it's just for the time being, when a group of people just get upset and they're like, we're not supporting this artist. We don't want it. And then everybody else falls in line. But at the essence, you still have people that don't care about what other people say about a specific person, and they're still going to support that artist. Of course, we got the masses that control a lot of things in the industry, in the entertainment world. And of course, yes, they can stop your bag. They can stop people from booking you, which is what a lot of people did. And if you kind of don't really know what happened with Dababy, at a time, Dababy was the festival king. He was the guy you couldn't go to a show, a festival, anything without Dababy being there. Within that time, I know I was at TSU. He came to TSU. He was in the bleachers, that bleacher. He came, messed with the crowd. He was off the stage. Dababy was everywhere. He was super huge, super big. And then he made a comment towards the LGBT community, and that stopped everything. And we know when you mess with that community in the way that he did, publicly, then it's a lot of scrutiny behind it. So for the longest, that kind of like slowed him down. It didn't put him in the eyes of a lot of fans. He was used to being at these festivals with thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and now that access stops. So now you have to figure out a way to build your fan base from just the core people that fucked with you to figuring out how you can, maximize that without being put in front of thousands and thousands of people every other weekend. So I think he was just trying to, he was trying to find himself, and a lot of people was against him. He had a huge hit with Dua Lipa, the "Ooh, I Want Sunlight," that song. And she took him off of that. Dua Lipa is a huge international artist. She's a huge pop star. So to be taken off that song based off of your actions, that kind of hurt him in a way as well, because to me, Dababy is a crossover artist. He's a guy that can work with, he made Rockstar with Roddy Ricch. That was a huge crossover record for Dababy. And that kind of showed a lot of versatility for Dababy. And once opportunities like that, to where you have access to pop stars and different sounds, and now people who you're experimenting with these different sounds don't want to work with you, and they're successful in that pop world, that dampers your career as well. And again, I'm not the type of artist that I'm not the type of person that believes in cancel culture. Just because I know at the end of the day, people are gonna circle back around. You're gonna eventually forget. Somebody's gonna do something 10 times worse than what you did in those years, and people are going to come and circle back around. Perfect example for me, Chris Brown. I don't want to get into the whole Chris Brown situation. We already know what happened, right? But when you look at Chris Brown now, he's still been working. He just sold out an arena across seas. There's a high demand for Chris Brown. But at a moment in his career, he was canceled. People were stopping a lot of his bags. He had to do a lot of forgiveness and a lot of X, Y, and Z to get back into good graces, or whatever you call good graces right now for Chris Brown. Because Chris Brown is constantly working right now, and he is, dropping music, and, he still gets features and praise and awards and all that stuff. So, Chris Brown would be that example. And then also, another thing that kind of hurt Dababy was, him doing the whole, the LGBT backlash, right? And then on top of that, you're working with Meg Thee Stallion, right? Meg was hot, right? Meg scorching hot, and they were collabing together, and they were great together. They fed off each other well, they made good music together. And for the time being, I would have loved to see a Meg Thee Stallion and a Dababy maybe collab tape, because they could have been the male-female rap duo. They could have been that new male-female rap duo. They could have dropped a collab tape. They sound good together on records. They have the same kind of style, the same kind of animation style. And for the time being, we thought those two were going to literally take over and show us something different in the rap game, until the whole Meg Tory situation happened and people started picking sides. And I guess it's alleged that Dababy slept with Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez slept with Meg Thee Stallion. They didn't believe her. Dababy decided to side with Tory Lanez, and that dampened the relationship between Dababy and Meg Thee Stallion. It just looked like Dababy was supporting the shooter of a woman, and a prominent woman at that, in the industry. So that right there was another dagger, because for the longest, if you stood next to Tory Lanez or you supported Tory Lanez, that hurt your career. And I feel like that was one of the daggers that kind of also stabbed Dababy in the back with his career. A lot of people was looking at Dababy like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? You saying you did X, Y, and Z with her. You working with somebody that, quote unquote, shot her in the eyes of court. And what it's kind of like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So standing next to Tory Lanez hurt his career as well. But you want to know my opinion? In reality, I just feel like Dababy wasn't dropping music that people expected of him. So when we talk about cancel culture, because for me personally, again, I can separate the artist from the person. Unless you're just like a horrible, terrible serial killer rapist, then, I can, like, cool, you work with Tory Lanez, all right, whatever, cool, I don't care. All right, cool, you said this, okay, you apologize about it, cool, it doesn't pertain to me. You know what I'm saying? I'll rock with your music. But I feel like Dababy wasn't dropping music that exceeded his fans' expectations. Dababy, his album Kurt did well. His album, Bop did well. You know what I'm saying? But I think Bop came a little bit later. And I think Dababy got Roddy Riched. And when I say he got Roddy Riched, I mean, we all know Roddy Ricch had the movement for a time being. Roddy Ricch was the hot guy. Roddy Ricch was on the Billboard charts for so long, and then after the box success, he kind of faded away because he wasn't dropping the box for his fans, or he wasn't dropping a "Please Excuse Me, I'm Antisocial" album, and that hurt Roddy Ricch's career. So in return, how I'm looking at it, Dababy wasn't dropping the Baby on Baby. He wasn't dropping a Kurt. He was dropping mid. In a way, he was dropping mid, and he wasn't dropping music that people actually cared about. So when you come back to this mixtape, this sounds like a classic Dababy, Kurt, Baby on Baby album. That's why it's called. That's why it's called. How the fuck is this a mixtape? Because it sounds like one of his older albums that was successful. And then just looking at Dababy's discography, I actually liked a majority of his stuff that he dropped within that 2020 to 2022, 23 era when people was not paying attention to him. Let me look and see. So we got Blame It on Baby. The deluxe was good. The original was good. Then of course you got Kurt. I liked Blank Blank. That was something older, but that was when he was on his rise. Blank Blank was good. Baby on Baby, of course. And again, that's in no particular order. And then one tape that was really, really slept on by Dababy was his collab tape that he had with YoungBoy. Like, that tape was fire. And, that did good for, I think people more so tuned in for YoungBoy than they did for Dababy. YoungBoy has that young street crowd. And I think Dababy attached himself to YoungBoy because YoungBoy is an artist that he says just as much wild shit, or he does just as much wild shit, but it's not held against YoungBoy because he's young and his fan base doesn't really care because he's a wild dude anyway. If you look at YoungBoy right now in the media, he's in federal custody for pretending to be a damn doctor to get prescription meds. Like, he's just a wild nigga. So Dababy went over there, and again, a lot of artists wasn't collabing with YoungBoy. A lot of artists in the industry, they have this whole pick a side, and YoungBoy and Durk had a beef. So it's like either you rocking with Durk or you rocking with YoungBoy. And I don't know where they stand right now with that whole beef or whatever it is. It seems like it kind of died down since YoungBoy is, now in federal custody doing whatever he's doing in court. And Durk has turned over a new leaf, quote unquote. But, for the time being, that's what it was. And, Dababy attached itself to YoungBoy to try and get that newer crowd, in my opinion. That's how I feel. But that mixtape was hard, and a lot of people slept on it, which is crazy. And, Dababy, he released a lot of, some decent songs, maybe like within the last year, still while he was kind of quiet, that I feel like were great records for Dababy. They were showcasing his animation style in his videos that we all love. They were showing his crazy antics and all that stuff. He had Selling Crack with Offset. That was a good record. He had Shake Something with Sexy Red. He called him the Sexy Red Wave while she was climbing up. Shake Something went crazy in the club. It still goes crazy. That was kind of one of his hits back, saying, oh yeah, I'm back to doing what I used to do. And I think that song really helped his career, especially when artists like Sexy Red that are hot and up and coming, jump on a song with Dababy, because Dababy wasn't that hot. So you can kind of tell that she genuinely fucked with Dababy. Sexy Red comes across as an artist that's like, shit, I don't give a fuck what they did or how they said this or X, Y, and Z. If I fuck with their music and they want to work with me, hell yeah, let's go, let's do it. So yeah, Shake Something was a big record for Dababy for his little comeback, his comeback era. So yeah, if I had to rate his mixtape, I'd probably give it a 7.5. Just because to me there are no huge hits on there, but it's very tolerable and it does ride. I'm not gonna do a breakdown of it. I might do a review on his album, like a detailed review. But off of first listen, I didn't hear anything bad. I'm glad he's back out here, doing what he does. He's gaining momentum back. He's getting back into that baby, the character that the baby character that we like. It seems like he came back extra humble, and he's on his grind to feed his fans and to make better music and to make a better change. So kudos to Dababy. That's my review on how I feel about his album off first listen and just kind of like where his career has been to where it is now. So let me know what you think. If you think do you think Dababy still has longevity? Do you think he lost touch and he still lost? Do you care about Dababy? Do you not care about Dababy? Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, share. And until next time, I'll see you guys on another video. This is your boy Brooklyn. This is Brooklyn Media signing off. Peace.